Hello, seekers, and welcome to the Strange Medicine of Alice Strange podcast. I'm aliceestreastrange, and on this podcast, we explore where the esoteric meets with the scientific. We hear a lot in the spiritual and magical communities about winter being about going inward and resting, but why is that? And how do we actually do that in a realistic way? Well, that is the topic of today's episode, and I'll cover the energies in general as well as specific practices that you can do today to make the most of the winter season. But first, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Alice. I assist people in connecting to their spirit team, ancestral wisdom, and mastering their magical practice through empowered witchcraft mentorship and shadow healing. If you've been watching or listening recently, you may have heard me talk about the course coming up and the academy that I've been planning to launch. Well, I have decided that there's never a better time than the present, and I will be taking this 6-week course and adapting it to launch the full-fledged academy in January. It's called the Modern Mystic Academy, and it's a learning community where you explore every aspect of a magical topic over the course of a month and connect to others along the way. There will be more details coming soon, but if you're interested, you can join the waitlist now in the description. You can also check out the links down there if you want to join my free community, my psychic expansion circle, or schedule a session with me, and lots of other things. Now, let's talk about how and why to celebrate the season of winter as a magical individual. Welcome, seekers, to the Strange Medicine of Alice Strange, the podcast where modern science meets with what lies beyond what we can see. Here, we delve into psychology, spirituality, science, and the occult. Each episode will explore the bigger questions of existence, the nature of the soul, our internal world, and how we can understand them through spirituality and magic. This podcast is a sanctuary for the soul. Alongside science and spirituality, we also learn the power of compassion and the magic of extending kindness to others. For in the act of giving, we receive. In the act of teaching, we learn. This is a journey into the depths of the mind as well as the heart, where every lesson is a step toward oneness, every insight a bridge to understanding, and every act of kindness a spell that transforms the world. So join me, aliceestreastrange, on this journey of self-discovery, scientific wonders, ancient knowledge, and finding the strange medicine within yourself. So first, what is the energy of the winter season? Whether you've never heard this before or you've practiced for years, this will be a great refresher or a great resource for understanding these concepts. Now, I have to begin by explaining the benefit of synchronizing your practice and your life with the seasons. Everything inside of us is reflected outside of us as well, as within, so without, as above, so below. Just like we are born, grow, age, and die, or we wake up, start our day, wind down, and go to sleep, the sun rises and travels across the sky and sets and the moon comes out. And there is spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So understanding the energy of the cycles of nature helps us to understand ourselves better. Now in winter, we see that most of the plants have died off since fall, the world stops growing, seeds are dormant underground, the days are shorter and the nights are longer, animals slow down, hibernate, and migrate, and nature is much quieter. This is similar energetically to the dark phase of the moon. Both are about slowing down and going into darkness and into yourself and preparing for renewal. In winter, all the leaves fall off the trees and the trees concentrate their energy in their roots. And so this is representative of this being a great time for us to focus on stability within ourselves and our lives, and to really ground ourselves, to bring us into the earth and into our roots. And our roots can mean healing from the past, reflecting on our past, working with the inner child, or ancestral connection and healing. In the winter, seeds go through a period of being frozen in the ground. This is called stratification and is actually incredibly important to be sure they grow. With many seeds, if they don't stratify, they would bloom too early and not survive the winter. They're actually less likely to sprout, and if they do, they can be less healthy and slower to grow, meaning they can't really adapt to the environment and challenges as well. The seed needs a period of pausing and waiting to gather strength and prepare for their best growth in spring. And we also need time to rest. To gather strength and prepare for what's coming, this means that this season is the perfect time for self care, cozy, slowing down, dreaming up our future, and preparing to make it happen. And all of these concepts that I've mentioned flow into each other. We need to slow down so we can reflect on ourselves and know how we can best take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves so we can heal. And we need to heal so we can ground and find stability. We need stability so we can know what future we want to build. And we need to know that future so we can plan for it. And we need to plan so we can prepare to make it happen in the best way. And yes, you can do all of these things any time of year, but I like to think of it as if life is a river that flows in two directions. One flows toward growth and expansion, the other towards slowing down and going inward. You can swim whatever direction you like, but if the river is flowing in the direction of slowing, introspection, healing, planning, then you will achieve those types of goals with much less effort, much quicker, and more effectively if you swim with the current. If you take advantage of the season, it's a powerful energy that you can use to achieve those types of goals. So, now that you know the energy and the general ideas of what aligns with the winter season, let's go into specific practices you can do to make the most of this time. This is a really great time of year to be doing deep cleansings and protection rituals, to make your home a cozy sanctuary for resting and healing, or setting up protections that will last all year to prepare for the busier, warmer months. Things like warding or a really deep home cleanse, like I shared in a recent YouTube video. And if you're watching on YouTube, I will link that above. And if you're listening anywhere else, it will be in the description for you. And after you cleanse your home, it's also really great to do a blessing to bring in your desired intentions. Now, this next practice you can do is for my fellow plant witches. I know a lot of us plant lovers get a little down about winter, but this is really a great time for you to expand your plant ally connections. And you can get to know new wintertime plants like rosemary, any type of evergreen, holly, mistletoe, or really any kind of cozy wintertime spice you would normally think of, like cloves and cinnamon, star anise, and warm citrus fruits. Many of these plants and herbs were very sacred to ancient pagans, so it's a really great time to also read up on the history and connect with that plant spirit in that way. And speaking of herbs and spices, this leads me to my next magical practice, which is cooking intentionally. You don't have to be a kitchen witch to cook with intention. It's as simple as incorporating rosemary into a dish while connecting to the spirit of rosemary, just talking with her, which is also something I have a few YouTube videos about. I also highly recommend simmer pots. Simmer pots are essentially a big pot of water that you boil and you add herbs, spices, fruits, and things like that that match your intention. And then as the water boils, the smell fills your home and so does the magic. I really love simmer pots for positivity and warmth the most. They smell so good, and it's really hard not to feel that coziness no matter who you are. Even if you don't know it's a spell, you feel the warmth. But there are many intentions you can use with simmer pots. Anything from abundance to protection, you name it. And my favorite way to cook intentionally is wassail. Now, wassail is a sort of spiced cider with spices and fruits like apples and oranges, and sometimes alcohol, and it varies between traditions and families. It's actually an ancient magical practice from West England, and this was done in winter for protection and abundance. And it's still a common drink that people make for the holidays today. Wassail is my favorite childhood memory. It was there every single Christmas season. And I make wassail today to connect to my ancestors and my inner child. A lot of ancient practices in winter focused on warming, not only because it's essential for survival, but also because it's part of resting and caring for yourself and preparing for the coming spring. So I like to recommend candle and fire magic. In general, the winter season is a great time for spells like cord cutting and any kind of long-term spell done over the course of days or weeks. And since we are in the death phase of the natural cycle, it's a good time to work with your ancestors, the dead, and to do other liminal practices like dream work and my personal absolute favorite, otherworld travel. Another kind of magical practice that I would like to recommend is connecting to the energy of the crone. This is great to do this time of year because she is the archetype of winter. And you can do this in whatever way feels right for you, like meditation or reading or journaling. And reading and journaling are also really great to do this time of year. So here are a few journal ideas that I really like to use. You can journal over darkness as a concept and where you see it in yourself and your life. You can journal over the dark divine energy. You can think about the energy of winter and how it's reflected within yourself. You can reflect on your shadow aspects, the duality of dark and light in the world and in your life. Journaling is really great for slowing down. So when I'm struggling to slow down and really need that pause, I like to journal over all of the little changes I see outside, every little natural thing that I can see, and reflect on them and what they may mean as an overarching energy or for me in my life at that time. And a really fun one I like to recommend is choose a different animal or plant every day, week, month, whatever works for you, and journal over what you can learn from them and how they behave in winter. Meditation is a commonly recommended and commonly disdained practice for any time of year. But meditation is so good during the winter, and to help me motivate myself to meditate more, I often meditate before I journal on these topics to just give myself the motivation and to understand it better. Other types of meditation to try are meditations for introspection, or things like loving kindness meditations and progressive muscle relaxation. And I'm a person who has a habit of trying to make a meditation into an active thing. I try to go do something rather than just being in the moment or reflecting with no goal. So I really try to release that even more in the winter and meditate with no big goal or something to achieve, to just embrace the winter flow. If you're someone who also struggles to slow down and rest in the winter or any time of year, reflect over these practices, see which one will work for you, and try to incorporate it more. I know it's a struggle, but you can do it. And that is everything I have for you today. If you would like me to do a more in-depth dive on any of these practices, comment that down below. I've really found just so much benefit in aligning my life with the seasons. I just feel a lot more connected to the macrocosm, and I wanted to share that with you all. If you learned something in this video, give it a like. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Spotify, you can give me a little 5-star rating. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to see you all in my community and get to know you a little bit. So if you'd like to join the community platform or the Discord server, those links will be down in the description. I hope you genuinely enjoyed this episode, and definitely let me know if you have any questions for me. I love chatting with you all in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Remember in this winter season to be well, be kind, and may your curiosity for this world and the next never fade.